Santa Clarita's hometown station, KHTS. It is the Hometown Morning Show with Tori and Kyle. Always good to have guests in the studio, and we have a great one now. He's Gregg Goodman, and he joins the Hometown Morning Show with Tori and Kyle.
Good morning, Greg.
Good morning. How are you?
Gregg Goodman from Farmers Insurance. Is there a Farmers Insurance jingle?
You know, the Professor Burke one, but I can't sing, so I'm not going to even try. So you have to go on the commercial, okay?
All right. We'll look for the
I'm not
commercial.
gonna do it.
You are a personal agent.
Yes, I'm a personal home, life, auto, and commercial agent.
So you carry pretty much everything. What are the advantages to having a personal someone to take care of you? Or is that exactly it? Someone to take care of you?
I think the personal, my personal belief is, you know, we're personally involved in everyone's business. You know, we're just not we're not an 800 number that you're just a number. You know, we know who your clients are. We know your kids' names. We know who your wife are, your spouse, you know, etc.
You're in their business.
We're in there. We're there. We're here to help. We're here to make sure if, God forbid, there's any kind of catastrophe, that we're there to help you.
And how exactly does that? It sounds like that's pretty self-explanatory, but how does that help you as a consumer who needs insurance? Because we need insurance for all kinds of things. First of all, some we need insurance because it's the law, and other is extra insurance to make you feel a little bit safer and a little bit have a peace of mind. How having a personal agent, how does that help do to that?
Well, the personal agent also, I mean, we're personally responsible technically to make sure that you have the right coverage to cover your family. So if you come to me and you want a homeowner's policy, right? And I underinsure you, I'm responsible for that. So my job is to make sure you're not underinsured, just God forbid there is a catastrophe. Or the same thing with auto insurance or life insurance. There's many, many different responsibilities that I have to the client.
When it's pretty, I think underinsuring a house is pretty self-explanatory. You know, if God forbid something would happen, you know, fires, whatever, and you needed to rebuild the house, you need to have enough insurance to cover the rebuilding of that house. But how do you underinsure for something like life insurance? How do you know exactly what kind of policy to sell to someone?
I think you have to really sit down with there's a lot of companies that do 800 numbers, life insurance, ever seen the commercials. You would have to come down and sit down with me and go through it all, because you have to take into account, is your spouse working? Mm-hmm. How many kids you have? I mean, how much money you make over the next, each year. God forbid something happens during the years when the kids are going to school, you want to save for college, because if something happens to someone, that income's gone completely. So you have to sit down. I don't ever estimate anything. I always sit down with the client to make sure that they know exactly what they have.
So you figure out, salary, maybe you figure out if the kids are in school or if they're going to school.
What are the goals? What are the goals? I mean, there's some people that don't have kids, so do you just want to have enough money for the spouse, him or her,
sure,
to cover the mortgage? Or if school costs $50,000 minimum per person now, so do you want to make sure if God forbid something happened, you want to make sure that that's covered?
Absolutely. Last insurance that I want to talk about, we have life insurance, we have home insurance, car insurance.
Yes.
So how do you help, being a personal agent, how do you help someone, if they have, do you recommend, the certain deductibles? Do you recommend, what do you exactly recommend?
I'm not the biggest deductible person, because I think if it's a $500 or a $750 or $1,000, it's really depend on people's situations. I think the number one issue is your liability coverage. There's a lot of people that have kids now driving, mm-hmm. Okay, and you're liable until those kids are 18 or the car is registered in their name. So I always recommend $1 million umbrella, because God forbid you see there's so many accidents out there and so many people getting hurt. You got to protect your family. One lawsuit can ruin anybody if you don't have enough coverage.
Okay, let's slow down on that. Let's examine that just a little bit. So you have a car, you have kids driving now.
Yes.
And you have your regular coverage. What is regular coverage for a car?
Most people have 100, 300, and 50,000 property damage coverage for liability. So what that means is, if God forbid they were sued in a car accident, you have 100,000 per person and 300,000 per the whole occurrence.
So do people on average, would you say just have the minimum covered?
No, I think people more and more are more sophisticated these days, that they know they need a lot of coverage. But there are, when I quote, I don't match coverages, because I I pretty much try to give them the coverage I think they deserve. Yeah. And the price difference is really not that much money if you do it correctly. So if you bundle everything together, or I mean, the difference between 100,000 coverage and 500,000 is maybe $125 every 6 months, depending on the driving record.
Sure. So it's minimal, and we really should not take that into consideration. It's something that we need to do, and we really shouldn't count those pennies as opposed to look at what you're up against in case they're
Look what happened yesterday morning in that accident. Yesterday, in Orange County, they 4 people were in the car. One was killed. So someone's always going to get sued. So you have to have enough coverage to cover all 4 of those people, or who knows what's going to happen.
So what would you say would be the average umbrella type insurance on a car policy? What do you think?
I think any person that owns cars and a house should have $500,000 minimum liability and put $1 million umbrella. I mean, $1 million umbrella might cost you $325 a year.
Yeah, it doesn't.
For an extra $1 million coverage, so it's really important out there.
When you say, it's just funny because it's kind of to hear you say $1 million in my ear, that's sticker shock. But if you sit down with you, and this is why you need a personal agent, because if you just take the time and you sit down, a lot of people don't do that. We need to everybody needs to relax.
There's
a
a lot of 800 companies out there. They will not do the recommendation. I always quote it. It's up to the consumer to decide if they don't want to take it or not. But I have to do my due diligence, so that's what we try to do.
And that's what you want to do. You sit down with your agent, and discuss these things and see what's best for you. And when you say things like, because it would honestly, Greg, you saying $1 million umbrella, just saying $1 million just freaks me out. I don't even know what I didn't, up until 5 minutes ago, I didn't even know what it meant.
What you freak out, it's only $325 approximately a year.
But
so
see,
think about that.
That's why you need a personal agent to explain why you shouldn't freak out. Like I just did. When you say, when you have these high numbers, you need to sit down with them and talk with them and have that conversation. And that's why you need a personal agent. And how about, I personally recommend Gregg Goodman, because he's too funny. First of all, he'll make you laugh. You go into the office, sit down, you'll have a cup of coffee. He does make you smile. Give me I want a website. I want some phone numbers. Greg, we are now on FM, 98.1 FM.
Right.
And those of our listeners who don't know you yet, I mean, everyone on AM 1220 knows you. You've been around for years. But we have some new listeners because we're now FM. So we're getting new listeners every single day, and they may not know you or how to get in touch with you.
Okay,
give me the scoop.
I'll give you the scoop. You can just go to farmers.com and just hit Gregg Goodman and Farmers Insurance, and they'll get my website right there. My phone number is 661-254-6739.
Phone number again?
661-254-6739. I also have a full staff. I have Carolyn, Kathy, and Maria all working for me. They're all here to help.
Are they as funny as you?
No.
No one's as funny as you.
And also, if anyone needs anything, my cell phone number is 661-803-2028. That is always an open line for anybody to call me.
And also, if you are driving in the car right now, you can write anything down, not to worry, because 2 ways you can get that information. You can go back on KHTSHometownstation.com. You can see this interview. We will post it immediately. You'll see the interview on hometownstation.com, or you can simply call the office right here, and we'll get you in touch with Gregg Goodman. Greg with 2 G's. Gregg Goodman, always a pleasure. Have a great rest of the week.
Thank you. Have a great morning.